Hello, I'm Bernard Norcott-Mahany. I work at the Blueford branch of the Kansas City Public Library. April is National Poetry Month, and for April of 2022, I am reading odes or poems by the Roman poet Horace. All of these come from the first three books of odes that were published as a unit in 23 BC. The poem that I'm going to be reading today, in a translation by David Ferry, is entitled by Ferry, Faithfulness. None of these poems have actual titles in the Latin. They're just lists of poems. But it sort of deals with marital fidelity here. So Horace ostensibly is talking to a neighbor of his. This neighbor has a husband who was off, I guess, on some sort of business trip, got shipwrecked, and is enjoying hospitality from someone. And there's a woman there who's trying to put the moves on him, but he's refusing. And Horace then turns his attention to his neighbor and says, yeah, and I see that you've got eyes for this other guy, but you should be, both of you should stay loyal to one another. So, this is poem 7 of book 3 of the Odes, Faithfulness. Asteria, why are you weeping? The clearing skies and brightening winds of spring will bring your faithful Gyges home to you, with many gifts from Bithynia. Gyges, driven ashore at Oricum by the storm that the wild goat constellation was the cause of, weeps alone through the sleepless night. Meanwhile, though, somebody sent by his lovesick hostess, Chloe, telling him about how Chloe weeps and sighs and burns for him, tempts him with many stories. This messenger tells him about how a lying woman with lying stories got Proteus to plot to kill Bellerophon the chaste. Also, she tells him about Peleus and how Hippolyta, who loved him, told lies about him and almost got him killed. And she tells him of other stories, all of them part of the plan to teach poor Gyges how not to be chaste Gyges. In vain. So far, at least, he is deaf as a cliff to the sound of her echoing voice telling him lying stories. Duplicitous. But Asteria, be careful that your neighbor Enipius doesn't please you more than he ought to please you. There isn't a better rider or a better looking rider on the campus, or a better swimmer swimming in the Tiber. Close up your house at night. You must be very careful not to come near your window when you hear his plaintive song about how cruel you are and how he longs for you only. So that was Faithfulness, poem 7 of book 3 of Horace's Odes.